Was this the rock on Indiana Street that killed Alexa Bartell?
Yes, ma'am.
Where was everyone seated in the truck at that time?
Joseph Koenig was in the driver's seat. Nicholas Karol-chik was in the passenger seat, and I was sitting directly behind Nicholas Karol-chik.
And so are you on, if you're looking out of the
Passenger
front?
side, ma'am.
Describe turning onto Indiana Street.
I remember hearing last one. Somebody said last one, indicating to me that this was the last one for the night. I remember hearing faster. I remember hearing the noise that the window makes on the highway. I remember it being very cold, and I remember a really loud noise.
Let's back up a little bit. In which direction was Defendant Koenig driving?
Southbound?
And how fast was he going when he initially turned on Indiana?
I'm not sure.
Did he speed up?
Yes.
When did he speed up?
I'm not sure.
Were you able to see oncoming headlights of Alexa Bartell's car?
Yes, ma'am.
How were you able to see that?
Indiana Street, from that point is very, very hilly. I believe she was at the top of her eyes while we were at the top of her eyes.
And what happened once you were able to see Miss Bartell's headlights?
Joseph Koenig sped up.
How fast did Defendant Koenig speed up?
I saw the digital speedometer saying 103 miles an hour.
How were you able to see the digital speedometer?
From where I was sitting in the vehicle, in the rear passenger side, you could see it through the center of the steering wheel.
When you first saw Miss Bartell's headlights, was it after that you heard the conversation in the car with relation to communicating that this was the last rock being thrown?
Not sure.
Was there an obvious target that was the last one?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that target?
Alexa Bartell's vehicle.
Who said last one?
I don't remember.
Who said faster, faster?
I believe it would be Mitch that said that.
And did Mr. Koenig go faster and faster?
Yes, ma'am.
Was this the fastest he'd gone that night?
Yes.
Was there anyone else on the roadway at this time?
No, ma'am.
Was it clear to you that someone was going to throw a rock at her?
Yes.
Describe how it was clear to you that that was about to happen.
The window rolled down. I mean, Mitch handed Nicholas Karol-chik handed Joseph Koenig a rock. That noise too.
So you mentioned, were you able to see Nicholas Karol-chik hand Defendant Koenig a rock?
I saw the motion of it.
How did Nicholas Karol-chik hand him the rock, that motion that you saw?
Will me making a motion suffice? Kind of like.
So was he picking up a rock from his floorboard and then?
I believe it was in his lap.
So Nicholas Karol-chik had a rock in his lap and handed it to Defendant Koenig?
Yes, ma'am.
Describe that rock that he handed to Defendant Koenig.
I don't think I saw it.
Do you remember calling it a handful?
Yes. Yes.
So you saw it well enough to see that it was a handful, correct?
After it was passed, I saw the outline of it in Joseph Koenig's hand didn't see it directly enough to know, but it looked like a handful.
And do you see Exhibit 240 at the floor next to you?
I cannot, but I do recall seeing it.
If I may have co-counsel approach and present Exhibit 240.
You may.
In looking at Exhibit 240, does that appear consistent to be the rock Nicholas Karol-Chik handed to Defendant Koenig?
Yes, ma'am.
How so? In what ways is it consistent?
In size.
Was this one of the larger rocks that they threw this night?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it the largest rock?
Cannot say.
You mentioned that Mitch was saying faster, faster, and Defendant Koenig got up to 103 miles per hour. Was that before or after passing Miss Bartell?
Before.
Was he going that speed when passing Miss Bartell?
Oh boy, let's take a break here. It seemed to be a big rock in that bag. We're going to have more key testimony in the rock throwing murder trial of Joseph Koenig when we return. Stay here with us on your front row seat to justice.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, the accused United Healthcare CEO shooter now facing federal charges. We're unpacking the latest developments as our experts weigh in.
Closing Arguments tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
Does Karen Reed a killer girlfriend?
She's guilty.
Or the scapegoat in an elaborate cover-up?
Karen Reed was framed!
We know who did it.
The Karen Reed murder retrial. Live coverage starting Monday morning on Court TV.
We are following very key, compelling testimony from a co-defendant in the rock-throwing murder trial of Joseph Koenig. Zachary Kwak is testifying about what he says happened the moment the last rock was thrown. That last rock killed the driver, Alexa Bartell. Let's listen to Zachary Kwak's testimony now on cross-examination.
And you testified today that you also heard Mitch saying, faster, faster.
Yes.
And you never said that to Investigator Manka when you first talked to him, correct?
I wasn't that kindly towards Mr. Manka at the time.
Okay. And you never said in any of your conversations with Investigator Dahl that you heard Mitch say faster, faster.
I don't know if I brought that up or not.
Okay. So you're agreeing that today is the first time that you've included that detail in your account?
I don't know if it is.
Okay. And you hear Mitch say last one, and Mitch got the rock in his hand and handed it from the passenger seat to Joe. Right?
Yes.
And Joe has one hand on the steering wheel.
Yes.
And from your spot in the back seat, you can see that the speedometer says 103 miles per hour. Right?
Yes.
And your belief is that those kinds of Chevys are regulated that they can't go faster than 98.
In my experience, yes.
And you see Joe roll down the window first, and he's got the rock in his lap, and he's got a hand on the steering wheel.
Yes.
And that's when you hear the sound that an open window at highway speeds makes, right?
Yes.
And rock in his lap, a hand on the wheel, is rolled down the window, and then he turns down the music too.
I believe so.
And with his one hand on the wheel, with his other hand, he lobs it out of the truck.
Yes,
with one hand.
with one hand.
And you saw the headlights that were coming towards your car.
Yes.
You saw a hand go out the window,
Yes.
right? And after that rock is thrown, then he rolled the window back up.
Yes.
And you described the sound that you heard as being like a rail gun.
Like I said, it was loud. It was very loud.
And a rail gun, if I understand correctly, is a gun that works on a magnetic field rather than an explosive charge. Is that right?
That's not the noise exactly I was referring to. What they do is they launch a large piece of metal, and when it hits a concrete wall, and it makes a very loud noise. That's what I was referring to.
Okay. And while all of this is going on with this rock and 103 miles an hour, you, who believe yourself to be a leader, didn't say, don't throw that. Did you?
I have to live with that every day.